Guys, welcome to a what we ate weeknight dinners video. Tonight I'm making a broccoli soup, so I'm just frying up half an onion and 2 cloves of garlic. Into the onions and garlic I've just added some vegetable stock, and I also added a really small potato because I just had it in the bottom of the fridge and it needed eating up. And then I've got some broccoli, so I've got most of the head of this broccoli and the stalks from both of them and another stalk that I'd saved in the freezer, so that's all going to go in there. For dessert I'm making an apple crumble, so I've just chopped up 2 large apples to go in there. I think that will be enough. And then I'll put crumble topping on the top, and I'll put some sugar and a little bit of water and lemon juice in the bottom. I added a little bit of milk and then blitzed the broccoli in with the stock, and I'm going to add the cheese now. And I've got this blue cheese to go in it. I've replaced some of the flour in the crumble topping with these gingerbread men, which I blitzed up in the blender. I actually didn't think about how bad I would feel until I saw them all disintegrating in the machine. Okay, this is the soup. It's had a pretty vigorous boil and I cannot get the cheese to melt in it. One of the things I struggle to get here is good cheese. It's a difficult one. It's melted somewhat, so I think I'm just going to go ahead and serve it now. It probably would have been a little bit thicker had all of the cheese melted. I think that'll be good. And then I'm just serving that with some bread. I brought this baguette today, which I think I'm actually going to toast because that's a bit rubbery. This is dinner tonight. I've got lots left over which will go in the freezer, and I just dunked my bread straight into it. After I mixed in the flour and the butter, it didn't really look like enough crumble topping, so I've also added in some porridge oats just to bulk it out a bit, so I don't have an exact measurement for that. The crumble's in the oven now. This is the new oven that we bought just before Christmas. I'm really enjoying being able to bake again. I almost forgot to film the crumble. This is the crumble just out of the oven, and I'm also just making up some custard to go with it. And this is the crumble and lots of custard ready to go. I'm just prepping some pork for tonight. So this is a thinly sliced like pork medallion steaks. I'm gonna mix it with this. I'm gonna mix it with this flour which has got oregano and pepper in it, and then I just blitzed up some breadcrumbs. I've been saving some crusts in the freezer, and I'm gonna mix that with this Parmesan cheese. This really hasn't got a lot of flavour, but maybe it'll make a bit of difference with those. So first flour, then egg, which I'm going to put onto this plate, and then breadcrumbs, and then I'm going to fry these up. I'm actually going to have a couple for my lunch now, and the rest I'm going to do with the tomato sauce and leave for Trevor's dinner. I've got my little assembly line going here. It's a bit messy, but we're getting there. So I'm just having my schnitzel on a sandwich because I'm working tonight. Tonight for dinner I'm making nachos. We always call these luxury nachos because they've got meat in them. So I'm just frying off some chicken and some onion, and then I've got some red pepper to go in there, a tin of tomatoes, and I've also got a little bit of this sauce for tacos, seasoning for tacos. So I'll put a little bit of that in too to give it some flavour, and then I'll layer it up with some cheese. I've got everything in the pan now. I just want to let it reduce down a little bit because I want it to be quite thick when it goes on the nachos. So good to get rid of some of this liquid, and I also want the chicken meat to be really tender. I'm going to leave that to just simmer really low. Tonight for dinner we're having noodles. This has got the egg in it, and the egg is cooked in the same broth as the noodles are. It's really tasty, and it's got mushrooms, and there's chicken and onion in there as well. Trevor is just frying up some tortillas for tea. They look really good. I hope these can last till tea time. I'm just making the filling to go in the wrap. So I've just put the steak in here with some onions and red peppers. And I'm going to sprinkle some of these taco seasoning on it and a little bit of water, but not too much. I don't want it to be liquidy. It just makes a messy wrap then. I've also chopped up some cabbage to go in there, and the darker green is some of the mustard greens, and I had a couple of tomatoes, so I put those too. And then we've got salsa and cream cheese to go with these. This is the assembly station all set up here. Trevor's just making some up, and I also had some mozzarella cheese, so I've put that out as well. And this is what we're having tonight: beef tortillas with salad and cheese. Tonight I'm trying out a new dish, so I'm just going to roast this broccoli off. I'm preferring broccoli roasted at the moment and any excuse to use my new oven. So this is a pork dish. I'm going to fry off these pork tenderloins and then I'm going to add some leek, red pepper and some shiitake mushrooms to it. And the sauce for it is sour cream and beef stock, which I saw on someone's YouTube video recently. It's also going to have paprika in it and I thought it sounded nice. I've never tried it before, so that's kind of the base of this sauce, and I'm going to serve it over pasta. I've got some colour on these pork steaks now. I just put a little bit of pepper on them. I'm just going to set those aside. And then I'm frying the leeks, mushroom, and there's some garlic in there as well, just in the same pan with a little bit of butter, and I'll deglaze it with some stock once they're fried up. I added the paprika to this pan and then I put the beef stock in. I didn't mix it very well though, so there's a little bit still left in the cup. I'm just going to add a bit of milk and try and get the rest of that in. So this is it with the milk in it, and now I'm going to add the sour cream. My only concern is that this won't melt down, so I want to try and get this to a boil. Sour cream melted and it hasn't separated. I've just put the pork chops back in there to warm them through, and I'm going to serve this over pasta. Goodness, I forgot the broccoli. It's looking a bit crispy. Let's bang that into it too. This is our dinner for tonight. It's made double, so there's enough to go in the freezer for next week as well. Tonight I'm making this chicken and squash dish. It's from this app, which is Kurashidu. It is in Japanese, but I find it really easy to follow because there's so many pictures. So I've just got the squash ready to go. I'm cooking that in the microwave because our oven has got a microwave function on it. So it's going to steam that. And it's got some chicken in it, but I've only got a little bit of chicken that was left in the freezer. I'm not sure how much meat there'll be left under that once I peel back the skin. So I'm just going to put a little bit of chicken, but I'm going to do lots of mushrooms. So I've just sliced up the bit of chicken that I had left, and the mushrooms, I'll break those up, and I've also got about 2/3 of an onion there, and the squash has just come out of the microwave. First I'm going to fry all of these together just in a little bit of oil. I've added some black pepper and a little bit of oregano to the pan, and the mushrooms have only just gone in. The chicken and the onion has been in there for longer. I like to get a good bit of colour on this before I move on to the next stage. Next you add 2 tablespoons of flour and just stir that in. Next you add 50 ml of water and you mix that with the flour. You don't want any of these lumps of flour in it before you add the milk, and it has 300 ml of milk and a chicken stock cube. You just mix that all together. It's going to thicken up some more. And then the squash that we set aside earlier, you just got to mash with a fork. I've mashed up the squash now, and I'm just going to add it into this mix. I really like this one. We've had it quite a few times this winter. It's really cozy. You could have it just as a stew like this, but I'm actually going to serve it over a little bit of rice because I want this to do double dinners. Just mix it all in. It gives it a really pleasing orange colour too. So it doesn't matter if the squash is a bit chunky. It means you just get some pieces of squash in it. So this is our stew and rice tonight. Tonight for dinner we're having okonomiyaki, which is like a cabbagey pancake, very similar to bubble and squeak. So I've got cabbage here and a grated carrot, and then I also wanted to use these up out of the fridge, so we've got some of those mustard greens and a little bit of leek. You just mix it with flour and egg, and I'm going to fry this into it on the bottom. First you're just getting some colour on the pork. You don't need any oil in the pan for this because it's fatty enough, the pork is, to grease the pan. And then this is the mixture. Sometimes I can flip it really well and sometimes it sticks. This is the better pan for flipping. I'm not sure. I never really measure stuff, so sometimes my batter's a bit inconsistent. Also, I usually do 3 eggs, and today I only had 2. Okay, it kind of flipped. I broke a little bit off the edge there. It's looking alright. I didn't do such a great job of getting it out of the pan in one piece. So on the top of this I'm going to put seaweed, pickled ginger. This is Okonomiyaki sauce. It's similar to Worcester sauce, maybe a bit sweeter. Mayonnaise. Me and Natasha are just going to share this one for now, and then I'm going to fry up another couple when Trevor gets in later. He's working late tonight. I forgot I also had the fish flakes to go on top, so this is our dinner for this evening. Tonight for dinner we're having curry, so it's this Japanese style curry. This is like cubes of paste that you mix in. I'm doing it with the squash. Actually, it's really similar to the chicken dish I made the other night. It's squash, mushrooms and onion. I've taken the skin off the squash. The skin is fine if you're boiling it and just like a side dish, but in curry I think it's better without it. So I'm just gonna make this up, and you basically just add water and then the curry sauce. It's a really quick and easy one. I fried the onions and mushrooms lightly to start, and I've just had those boiling with the water, and then I'm gonna add these pots. So this is what they look like. Not all of them are two tones. I guess this has got like the extra flavour in or something. We've tried quite a few brands and this one has been the nicest. And I'm doing 4 pods tonight because I'm making extra curry for the freezer. And this is the curry sauce all mixed up. It's quite thick. Just want to make sure it's got no bits left in it. Can't really see that now because I'm all steamed up, but it should be smooth when it coats the back of the spatula and not have any lumps. I also love my rice cooker. Rice is ready to go too. And this is our dinner for tonight, curry and rice. Thanks for watching this week, guys, and I'll see you again next Sunday. Bye bye.